Welcome back to Think What If, where we explore fascinating scenarios and the possibilities they hold.
What if you tried to survive a zombie apocalypse in a skyscraper?
Today, we delve into a gripping and terrifying question. What if you tried to survive a zombie apocalypse in a skyscraper? Imagine waking up one morning to the sound of sirens blaring, chaos erupting outside your window, and the world you once knew crumbling around you. This scenario is not just about survival, it's about the emotional journey that comes with it. Join me as we navigate the complexities of living in a towering fortress amidst chaos, fear, and uncertainty. Your day begins like any other, but the atmosphere feels different. You wake up to a strange stillness, a silence that seems to blanket the city. As you pull back the curtains of your apartment on the 30th floor, the sight outside is both mesmerizing and horrifying. The streets are deserted, a stark contrast to the usual hustle and bustle of city life. Suddenly, you hear distant screams and the unmistakable growls of zombies. Panic sets in as you realize that the world has changed overnight. The first instinct is to secure your surroundings. You quickly remember that you live in a skyscraper, a towering structure that could serve as both a fortress and a trap. You scan your apartment for anything that can be used to barricade the doors and windows. Your heart races as you push a heavy bookshelf against the front door, trying to suppress the overwhelming dread creeping into your mind. Each thud against the door sends waves of anxiety through you, but you know you must act quickly. Once you've secured your immediate space, you take a deep breath and begin to assess your resources. The skyscraper might provide various supplies if you can navigate the floors safely. You decide to search your apartment first. You rummage through the pantry, finding a few canned goods, some instant noodles, and bottled water. Relief washes over you, but it's tempered by the knowledge that these supplies won't last long. Rationing will become essential. With your heart pounding, you make the decision to venture out of your apartment. The building is eerily quiet, but the fear of what lies outside compels you to explore. The hallways are dimly lit, and each creak of the floorboards sends a shiver down your spine. You know the potential dangers lurking around every corner could be the difference between life and death. As you step into the common areas of the floor, you find empty offices and abandoned belongings. The chaos of the previous night becomes apparent. Papers scattered across desks, chairs knocked over, and the lingering scent of panic hangs in the air. You gather what you can, non-perishable food items, bottled water, and any medical supplies you can find. Each item is a small victory, a lifeline in your fight for survival. Days turn into a blur of scavenging and fortifying your space. The isolation begins to take its toll on your mental health. The skyscraper, which once felt like a safe haven, now feels like a prison. You find yourself standing at the window, gazing at the desolate city below, longing for human connection. The loneliness gnaws at your spirit, and despair threatens to overwhelm you. You take a moment to reflect on your life before the outbreak, the friends, the laughter, the simple joys of being part of a community. Now, all of that feels like a distant memory. In the silence of your high-rise sanctuary, you grapple with feelings of hopelessness and fear. How long can you survive this way? Will you ever see another person again? As the days stretch on, you know you can't remain in isolation forever. Supplies are dwindling, and the fear of running out becomes a suffocating presence. You decide it's time to venture out and explore the building more thoroughly. Perhaps there are other survivors, or maybe there are more resources hidden on the lower floors. With a mixture of fear and determination, you gather your makeshift weapons, a crowbar and a kitchen knife, and prepare yourself for the unknown. Descending the stairwell, the weight of uncertainty presses down on you. Each step echoes in the silence, amplifying your anxiety. You remind yourself to stay alert, to listen for any signs of danger. As you reach the first floor, the sight that greets you is chilling. The lobby is in disarray. Overturned furniture, shattered glass, and the unmistakable signs of a hasty escape. You can feel your pulse quicken, the adrenaline surging through your veins. Suddenly, you hear voices. You freeze, heart pounding, as you realize you're not alone. A group of survivors is huddled in a corner, their faces etched with fear and exhaustion. Relief washes over you, but it's quickly tempered by caution. Trust is a rare commodity in this new world. You approach slowly, weapons at the ready, unsure whether they are friend or foe. The tension in the air is palpable as introductions are made. The group consists of a few individuals, each with their own stories of loss and survival. You share your supplies with them, understanding that cooperation is essential for survival. In this moment, vulnerability becomes a strength. You talk about your experiences, and in sharing, you find solace. The laughter and camaraderie that emerge remind you of what you're fighting for, the chance to live and connect. As you settle into a routine with the group, the Skyscraper transforms from a solitary refuge into a community. You work together to fortify your position, sharing responsibilities and resources. Each day brings new challenges, but the bonds you form with your fellow survivors make the weight of the apocalypse feel a little lighter. You start to establish a system for gathering supplies. Each member of the group takes turns scouting the floors, while others maintain watch for any signs of danger. The stark reality of your situation remains, but together you find a rhythm. You begin to cook meals together, create makeshift games to pass the time, and even share stories of happier days. Laughter echoes through the hallways, a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. But the outside world is unforgiving. As you become more comfortable in your new routine, the threat of the undead looms large. You hear the distant roars of zombies, and the fear of an invasion hangs over you like a storm cloud. You know that the longer you remain in one place, the greater the risk of attracting unwanted attention. One fateful night, the unthinkable happens. A loud crash reverberates through the building, followed by the unmistakable sound of growls and shuffling feet. Panic erupts among your group as you scramble to gather your weapons and defend your home. The adrenaline surges through your body, and you feel a primal instinct kick in. You can't let fear dictate your fate. As you fight to fend off the undead, chaos ensues. You find yourself side by side with your fellow survivors, each of you battling for your lives. The weight of your situation presses down on your chest, but amid the chaos, there's a flicker of determination. You can't let this be the end. You fight fiercely, every strike fueled by the desire to protect those you've come to care for. After the dust settles and the last of the zombies have been dealt with, you collapse against the wall, breathing heavily. The reality of what just happened sinks in. You've faced death, and you've survived. But at what cost? As you look around at the faces of your companions, you realize that survival is about more than just staying alive. It's about the connections you forge and the love you share. In the aftermath, you come together as a group to process the trauma of the night. Tears are shed, stories are shared, and bonds are strengthened. You understand that, in this new world, vulnerability is not a weakness, it's the foundation of resilience. You lean on one another, finding solace in the shared experience of survival. Together, you begin to rebuild, transforming your skyscraper into a home once more. As time goes on, you adapt to the new normal. You find ways to grow food, ration supplies, and cultivate a sense of community amid chaos. The skyscraper, once a symbol of isolation, has become a beacon of hope. You share laughter, celebrate small victories, and create new memories, all while keeping an eye on the ever-present threat outside. The emotional journey is just as critical as the physical one, and you learn to navigate both with grace and strength. Eventually, the question of whether to leave the skyscraper arises. You hear rumors of safe zones and rescue operations, but the risks of the outside world loom large. Each day is a reminder that survival is a delicate balance between hope and despair. You stand together with your fellow survivors, contemplating the future. Will you take the leap into the unknown, or will you continue to fortify your home? The thought of leaving the safety of the skyscraper fills you with dread. What if it's a trap? What if the outside world is more dangerous than you can imagine? But staying put also carries risks, the possibility of running out of supplies, the threat of more zombies, and the toll of isolation. Discussions become heated as opinions clash. Some argue for leaving while others insist on staying. The tension in the room is palpable, and it becomes clear that this decision could change everything. After much deliberation, you come to a consensus. You decide to send a small group to scout the area, including yourself. With a mixture of fear and anticipation, you gather your supplies and weapons, ready to face whatever lies ahead. As you descend the stairs once more, the familiar anxiety returns, but this time it's accompanied by a flicker of hope. The streets outside are eerily quiet as you step into the open air. You can't shake the feeling that danger lurks around every corner. You move cautiously, the weight of your companion's trust resting on your shoulders. Every sound seems amplified, every shadow a potential threat. But you press on, determined to find answers. As you explore the area, you encounter remnants of civilization, abandoned cars, shattered storefronts, and signs of panic everywhere. The reality of the apocalypse becomes starkly evident. You see evidence of people who tried to escape only to succumb to the chaos. But amid the destruction, there are signs of hope. Scattered supplies, a few functioning vehicles, and even a distant flicker of light. As you investigate further, you stumble upon a group of survivors who have managed to establish a safe zone. They welcome you with cautious optimism, sharing resources and information about potential safe havens. The sense of community rekindles a spark of hope within you. You realize that you are not alone in this fight, and perhaps there is a chance for a new beginning. Returning to your skyscraper, you share your findings with your group. The news of a potential safe zone ignites a renewed sense of purpose. You begin to strategize, planning for a mass exodus from the skyscraper. The thought of leaving behind the place that has become your home is bittersweet, but survival demands difficult choices. In the days leading up to your departure, you and your group prepare for the journey ahead. You gather supplies, plan routes, and establish contingency plans. The excitement mixed with fear is palpable. You know the journey will be perilous, but the hope of finding a safe place to rebuild your lives propels you forward. As you sit together one last time in your fortified skyscraper, you reflect on the journey you've taken. The friendships you forged, the battles you fought, and the resilience you've shown have transformed you. In this world of uncertainty, you've discovered not only the will to survive, but also the importance of connection, love, and community. On the day of your departure, you gather your group and stand at the entrance of the skyscraper. The familiar walls that once felt like a sanctuary now seem like a bittersweet farewell. With a mix of trepidation and hope, you take a deep breath and step into the unknown. As you make your way through the deserted streets, the journey feels surreal. Each step is a reminder of the challenges you've faced and the strength you've found within yourself and your companions. The world may be chaotic, but together you are unstoppable. In this vivid scenario, surviving a zombie apocalypse in a skyscraper is not merely about physical endurance. It's a testament to the human spirit and the bonds we form in the face of adversity. The skyscraper is both a fortress and a reminder of the fragility of life. As you reflect on this harrowing journey, you understand that survival is about more than just the struggle for existence. It's about reclaiming your humanity amidst the horrors of a broken world. Thank you for joining us on this emotional exploration of survival in a skyscraper during a zombie apocalypse. If you found this scenario compelling, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more thought-provoking content from Think What If. Until next time, keep pondering the possibilities and the strength of the human spirit.